If you are ready for an amazing transformational experience, then you need to stay tuned for this next hour for a master's practice with Dr. Aisha Hogan. She is a leading specialist in holistic methodologies and the creator of a powerful integrative technique called Enhanced Energy Communication. A master, clinical and metaphysical hypnotherapist, a well-respected author, a master of the mind, and highly sought international speaker. Get ready for a major breakthrough. And now, your soul guru, holistic transformational specialist, and host of a master's practice, Dr. Aisha Hogan.
Hi there, everyone, and welcome to a master's practice. I'm Dr. Aisha Hogan, also known as the Guru Hypnotist. I specialize in a lot of alternative healings and holistic education. And this education, this show, is for your enlightenment, your empowerment, and for your transformation. Today, on a master's practice, I'm very excited to have Jourdan Rystrom with me. And she is also a hypnotherapist, a singer-songwriter, and she works a lot with sound healing, and she has an amazing story. So today I'm stuttering. I'm so thankful to have her on the show, as well as teaching you about the benefits of sound healing. So welcome, Jourdan.
Thank you, Aisha. Wow, that was an amazing intro, by the way.
Thanks. So before we get into what you do with your clients, I'd really like to sort of touch on Jourdan the woman, because normally I save that for a little bit later, but your story is really awesome and it's very empowering. So if you could just give us a little bit of a sort of Cole's notes on you, on just how you got here, right from your childhood to now, because it's really an amazing story.
Yeah, and feel free to interrupt or redirect as I kind of talk. But yeah, I've got quite the crazy life story, which is kind of a lot of healers. I feel we have to have gone through our own hero's journey of sorts in order to get to the place that we're at now, able to empower others, and help others step into their freedom. And so, I've got that same story, and a lot of people, look at me and they're like, oh, you're so young. How are you already a healer? I'm like, well, I've gone through the gamut and more, in these
So how old are you? Do you mind us asking how old you are, Jourdan?
I'm 29 now. I just turned
29. Okay.
Yeah, but still people are like, how, you can never tell people's age. So they're like, how old are you? And it's funny because most of my clients are in their 40s and 50s. So that's the women that I work with. And it's funny because I started out in small town Minnesota and grew up there as kind of this little star child that was super creative. I won every art contest there was. I was in all the musicals. I actually was like kind of a child actress, and I was cast in musicals at like age 12 for different colleges. And I was just so excited to be in this world and to be creating. Right. And I just lived this life of happiness and freedom and creativity and wonder and curiosity. And, I was like one of those kids that was just really bright, and I, got school really easily. And everything came pretty easily to me. And then when I was 7 years old, my father started drinking. And that is when he kind of fell back into alcoholism, which I didn't know because I was too young to know at the time that before him and my mom had met, he had that problem, but then he had been sober ever since we were born. So he fell back into drinking. And then from age 7 to 13 kind of catapulted me into this world of my dad not coming home at night, my mom kicking him out of the house, him living in different homes and different halfway houses and going to different rehab centers. And me still, my mom doing the best she could to still keep my sister and I in all of our extracurriculars, doing all of our stuff. But I just kind of grew up like missing my best friend, who was my father, who was a musician.
Right.
And so I really missed that part of me because my dad was literally my best friend, and I grew up singing with him at coffee shops and doing performances because he was the music one in our family. And so kind of fast forward to age 13, that's when my dad he fell over at his job, and what happened was he had a seizure and a cardiac arrest, and that was because of drugs and alcohol in his body. So his body literally gave out on him, and it took the paramedics 23 minutes to get his heart started again. And so he was in the ICU. He had an anoxic brain injury, because of lack of oxygen to the brain. And from, that's the day that I lost my dad. I lost who he was for me in my life. And as healers, we know
everywhere. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And as healers, we know that when, a child loses a parent, especially at that age, it's so impactful in how we grow up and how we process the attachment theories and all of that. And so losing my dad was like losing my best friend. And I didn't feel, even though I love my mother and I love my sister, I didn't necessarily feel as understood by them as I did from my father. And so I kind of just then made this mission to I can do it alone. I can do it myself. I'm independent. And subsequently kind of began my first addiction, which was dating men, just having a boyfriend all the time. And, that was kind of my first attachment, I think, and then I moved to my next addiction, which was food and sugar, and kind of all these little addictions kind of kept popping up in my life. And I did find out later on that I had also inherited that gene of alcoholism. And kind of, if we want to fast forward all the way to LA, that's when I came into my full-fledged addiction, which was drugs, alcohol, partying. I mean, all the things you could imagine a young girl who's 21 years old living in Hollywood Hills to get into, I did.
Right.
And so, and then in the meantime, before that, I attended music school at Berklee College of Music, and I had a fantastic education. I actually studied music therapy, songwriting, and vocal performance. And there, it's funny because there at school, I did not drink or use drugs. However, I had an abusive boyfriend who kept me from making any friends, and I was in a codependent relationship. So it was it was like one thing after the other. It's kind of like subconsciously, what can I throw myself into to not have to feel the pain of losing my best friend and losing myself in the process?
Right.
And so, so again, I attended college in Boston. I moved to LA. I literally was I turned 21 years old 5 days after getting off the plane upon moving to LA. And then that's kind of where my whole thing started. I actually had to call the cops on that said boyfriend, the abusive one. Once I called the cops and they handcuffed him and gave him a warning for how he was treating me, that's when we broke up and he moved out. And I was alone in a brand new city, knowing no one. Again, from a small town in Minnesota going right to Hollywood Hills, and then that's when my life just kind of opened up and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing and I'm scared. And my little girl, my little girl inside was screaming for attention and for love and finding it in all the wrong places.
Right.
And yeah, so that was just a catapulting journey into, all things drugs and alcohol. And people always ask me, they're like, what was your drug of choice? And I would say, whatever you give me. I didn't really care. I just wanted to escape and not feel and not show up for myself because, that Marianne Williamson quote, we're so scared of our own light.
Right.
And that was,
that's right. We find our comfort in our darkness because we know it, right? It's familiar.
Exactly. And so I was so scared of my own light because I had it. I had the light when I was a kid. And I knew that I so badly wanted to get back to that, but I also knew that I had to go through this journey, this dark night of the soul, in order to find myself again. So it was kind of a weird, eerie thing because looking back on it now, there were moments in the depths of my addiction, which Adderall was actually the drug I was most addicted to, which is like a focus pill that's given to kids for ADD.
Right.
And yeah, so that's a whole other story for a different day. But I was addicted so much to that drug. I was popping 6 pills an hour. And it's like people ask me, how did you not die? And I answer, I don't know. I do not know how I didn't die because I should have been, dead. My heartbeat was going 170 beats per minute. I wasn't able to sleep for 6 days at a time. It was so intense. And it got to the point where I kept getting these pokes from God. or from universe or whatever you want to call it. And these little pokes of like, hey, are you done yet? Hey, are you done yet? You know,
right.
Hey, are you done yet? And then I kept getting not like major accidents or major things, but like semi-major things happening to me. And, you know, the pokes kept getting bigger and bigger. Like I would be driving home one night and I would pop a tire. You know, it's like I wouldn't hurt anyone else, but I would hurt myself. And the car would be like, hey, are you done yet? Are you done drinking yet? Or
the signs were coming. Well, it wasn't your time. It wasn't your time.
Yeah. And also I'm a musician in this whole time frame. So like I would get hired out to play gigs and then I wouldn't drink until after the gig was done. Like that was I'm a goody two shoes girl. And then, but after I'm done with my gig, I can drink. Right. So right. I remember at the end of it all, like this was like 2015, I remember booking gigs, paid gigs, and drinking, you know, wine and popping my Adderall pills after the gig, being there at the party, and literally not knowing how I got home. Not knowing at all. I would wake up the next morning on my couch, and my car would still be, like, in Redondo Beach, like 25 miles away, and I didn't know how I got home. So it's, like, right. Stuff like that where I was like, damn, like I need to make a change in my life because this is not what I want. And yes, I'm afraid. I'm so afraid of what's on the other side when I decide to take radical personal responsibility for my life. So yes. What's it going to be, you know? And then that's when I was just like in the moment of reflection. And that kind of brings me back to what I was saying earlier, which is there was a time when I was so high and I was so just enmeshed in this world. And I got a message from divine source. And the message was, take pictures of this, document all of this because this needs to go in your book someday.
Right.
And so I would receive these messages. And so like hoarding Post-it notes of every color, of every size, like all these ridiculous obsessions. Really, like ridiculous obsessions. I would take pictures of it because I got these divine hits of like, this is part of your story and you are going through this for a reason and you are going to get through it and this too shall pass. You're almost done. And then there was a day when I was done. And it's funny because remember my first addiction I said was like to men and codependency.
Right.
The way that I got clean and sober was a guy I was dating told me, he's like, hey, honey, I think you're an addict. And I'm like, what? How dare you say that to me? I was like, how dare you say that to me? We've been dating for 3 days and we're in love and we're going to get married, you know? And, you know, that was back in November of 2015. And I got sober because he mentioned to me like, hey, maybe you should look into this. And then I did because I had made him, the higher power in my life at that time. And I went to, a 12-step meeting and cried my eyes out because the 85-year-old man who was speaking up front, who I thought I had nothing in common with, was sharing my story at the core. And I was weeping and I'm like, okay, I need to do this. Right. And before getting serious about it, like I went out one time and that was Halloween of 2015. And which means, like I drank and I went on this crazy trolley, but that was bad enough to realize like, I do need help. Like I need to surrender. And so then November 1st, 2015, I surrendered. I asked for divine help. I prayed. I admitted that my life was unmanageable and I needed help. And the cravings were completely lifted from me. And so from that day on, I've been clean and sober. So it's been
That's
almost
amazing.
4 years.
Which is awesome. That your story is truly an inspirational story. And I didn't want to really interrupt your story at all with any questions because your story is amazing. And it's very interesting how you and I met because you just ended this saying that you were clean and sober. And so I was actually driving to a conference I went to Missouri and then I was driving to New Jersey for a HypnoBiz conference. And I was driving in silence. So I live in Ontario. So that was like a really like hours and hours. I was on an 11-hour drive. And I wanted a time to just like think and not listen to music or anything. And then a few hours before I landed in New Jersey, I thought, you know what? I'm just going to turn on the radio for a second. and I heard this song on the radio, this beautiful voice belting out this song about being clean and sober. And then I get to New Jersey, and I'm sitting there, and as we're sort of all being introduced to each other and stuff, we find out that there's this lovely woman named Jourdan Rystrom who is going to be singing for us, and she's going to be singing Clean and Sober. And that was the only song that I had listened to for 11 hours. I heard this one song, and that was it. I didn't have the radio on at all. It's like I had to hear this song. Oh, that's nice, and I turned it off. And then Here I am hearing it again, you know, virtually within hours at this conference. And I was just like, holy crap, what is this about? So
you can't make this shit up. Like, you can't. You really can't. Like, this is divine intervention. We're supposed to be together.
That was right. So it was amazing. And I actually even had you in my hotel room where we did a Facebook Live with you singing Clean and Sober a cappella. Like, that was amazing.
Yeah.
There. So today you're actually, I'm hoping that you will gift us with this song again.
Yes.
So that's amazing, but we'll wait till after the break. That should be coming up probably any moment now. But
okay.
I just wanted to tell the people who are listening that Jourdan Rystrom is definitely an up-and-coming singer-songwriter, and she is on the radio, and she's done an amazing thing, and she has an inspirational, amazing story. And the best thing about her is she doesn't stop jumping around. Like, she's like super excited all the time. So we need to take a break for a moment, but all you who are listening, please stay tuned for a master's practice.
Free your mind. Expand your soul. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
OMTimes magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Connect at OMTimes.com. OMTimes, creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Have you bought into the idea that you have to work hard for your money, that business is hard? I will share some dynamic access consciousness tools to get you out of your own way so you can create a business that actually succeeds. Join me, Simone Millisers, on The Joy of Business at 4 p.m. Mondays Eastern.
Are you ready to live your life depression-free? Are you having thoughts of ending things? Wondering what life would be like without chronic pain? How about no longer suffering the effects of trauma and PTSD? Are you tired of having your credibility questioned because you look fine and no one understands that you are struggling with an invisible disorder? Hi, I'm Dr. Aisha Hogan, and I'm a holistic transformation specialist. I work with clients from all over the world to aid them in eliminating, that's right, you heard me, eliminating their current struggles and challenges. I don't work with symptoms. That's like putting a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. I'm all about root cause and all the levels of you, as each one of us is unique. Ready to transform your life for good? To move into the best version of yourself and reach your unlimited potential? Then book your complimentary 1-hour online consultation with me by going to www.aishahogan.com. That's AYSE Hogan.com. And it will take you right to my clinic, the Chakra House of Healing. I look forward to meeting you there.
I'm Fidel Nshombo. I was born in a city called Bukavu in the Congo. We were a loving family, and then, boom, everything that I had disappeared in a single day. People think that when you are a refugee and they resettle you to America and all your problems are done, they don't understand that that's the beginning of everything. I was not born a refugee. I was made one.
It's time we welcome refugee families with open arms. Learn more at embracerefugees.org, brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hi there. Welcome back to A Master's Practice. I'm Dr. Aisha Hogan with my guest today, Jourdan Rystrom, hypnotherapist and singer-songwriter. So, Jourdan, you've shared an amazing story about yourself with us. And I mean, there's still more to your story. We have to sort of fast forward a little bit here, but you're now in Nashville, and
Yep.
there you were in LA trying to bring your career, get it out there. And you decided to move to Nashville for whatever reason, and that's where that's where things really took off for you.
Yeah, well, things started taking off right before I moved to Nashville, because that's when I released Dead Sober. I released it last August, and so that is when things just started flying off in terms of me booking gigs for presenting at conferences. I presented at the Think Better, Live Better Expo in San Diego, and I did HypnoBiz in New York, which is where we met. And just, all of these things have happened since I released this song. And like I said, it catapulted me into this whole new world of being seen for my music, which it's so interesting because a lot of people will ask me, what are you? Are you a musician or a healer? And I'm like, I'm both. Why can't we be both? Why do we always have to choose, or why are we always told to choose just one thing that we do? Music is healing. And so especially being on the sound waves, it's healing. And so my music is an expression of myself on this much higher level, on this much higher plane of creativity, that's able to reach people who I probably wouldn't be able to reach in terms of my healer, entrepreneur, hypnotherapist world.
Right. Well, you know what, and you talked about sound here, which is amazing because I guess people don't really realize. I mean, we like songs, we bop around to songs, but I don't think they really, a lot of people don't realize how healing music can be.
Mm-hmm.
And, before our interview today, I just wanted to get a little bit of background because I love sound. God knows I don't want to sing because I sound like a wounded animal, but I love sound. And I was like, okay, so what are all of the sort of benefits of it? And the few things that I sort of came up with, and maybe you can expand on that, is like stress reduction, decreasing depression, improving memory, pain reduction, lowering cholesterol. Those two really freaked me out. Decreases the risk of heart disease and stroke.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, so let's talk a little bit about how sound works with the body.
Yeah. And also I wanted to add that it helps release emotional trauma and unlock blocked emotions.
Right.
That's a huge one. And sound healing is just so, it's so healing because there's so many different ways to use it, and that's why, like I said, I studied music therapy at Berklee. That was the first degree that I went right into, and took music therapy 101. And so sound healing is, an acoustic journey that helps relax the body, calm the mind, and activate your body's natural healing system.
Right.
And so what sound does for our brain, specifically, is sound healing is meant to help facilitate a shift in our brainwave state. So through frequency, through entrainment with sound, and there's a lot of different ways you can do this. You can listen to music, you can sing along to music, you can move to the beat of the music, like I was just doing with your intro. I love it. I'm just bopping around over here. You can meditate, you can play an instrument. There's so many different types of sound therapy, but basically we're using these special sounds that produce vibrations to improve your brain waves and to help you kind of shift into deeper relaxation. And so through frequency, with this sound, it's possible and very easy to downshift from our normal beta brainwave state, which is the normal waking consciousness. And then it brings us down to alpha, which is more of a relaxed consciousness. And then the majority of people who are doing the sound healing and experiencing this are able to reach theta, which is that meditative or hypnotic state. And sometimes even delta, where deep internal healing can occur. And so sound healing is the experience of it alone is helpful for anyone who wants to give themselves a moment of relaxation or gain the benefits from meditation, but they haven't yet learned how to access it on their own, because sound is instantly, palpably felt. And that's the thing with sound healing, especially with the crystal bowls and the sound waves. And even if you're witnessing a singer live, like Aisha, you had me sing right in front of you, like you could feel the sound waves of my voice hit your body, right?
Right. Absolutely. It was joyful to watch. Like, it was joyful to feel. It was good. You made me smile a lot.
Exactly. And like, that's why I also bring music to nursing homes, because I get to perform, you know, oldies and older songs that help bring people's brainwaves back online, bring their memory back, heighten clarity and their ability to concentrate, you know, because sound is healing in so many ways. It activates the brain in these deeply therapeutic ways. And so, like I said, especially with like, whether it's live singing or it's, you know, playing the crystal bowls, you kind of fall into this instant relaxation. You kind of swim into the sounds and the frequency, and the body can palpably feel it. And this is scientifically proven because the hertz of our body is about 62 to 72 hertz. And that means that our bodies are much more dense than sound, which oftentimes sound healing is at the frequency of like 432 to 528 hertz. And so that's why, because the sound frequency is so much higher, that's why sound healing can penetrate deeply within our cellular structure and make permanent changes and promote these deep, deep meditative states.
Right. That's awesome. And I actually I saw a really cool quote. Well, I don't know if it was a quote. I was just reading some stuff about sound healing. There was one statement that was made that I thought was amazing. It says, not only does it slow down the brain waves, but every cell in the body shifts from dis-ease to in-ease.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that is a beautiful way to say it. Like, they start to heal themselves, like the cells begin to heal.
Totally. Yeah. The cells begin to heal. And that's really been my experience. That's how I knew I had this gift since childhood with my voice, because people would always say, they're like, you trigger emotions in me that I haven't had triggered in a long time. And, you know, like, you help me feel again. And then it's funny because after I got sober, which I know I haven't really told that story yet, the whole healing journey, but I realized that my mission is to help people feel again, because that's what I needed. Right. And so with sound and with music, it's an easy way to help you feel. You know, even the densest person on the planet, if they're put in a sound bath, honestly, there's no way that their body will not respond to that. You know, it's really a way to easily feel.
And what about if somebody just wanted to hum? Like, I know, because I work with chakras as well, with the energy of the body. I know that humming is really great for the throat, but like for your throat chakra, for that energy center. But what else? Like, is humming good? Chanting? I love to chant, but what effects do they have these similar effects to the body?
Yeah, humming. Yep, because again, that's the vibration. Yeah, humming and chanting. Using, there's even vibroacoustic therapy, where you can use sound vibrations and embed it in your mattress or recliner and then sing with it. Right. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
Oh my God, I did that in Vegas. The whole bed, they had a bed that I just laid down in, like, you know, like a massage table almost. And I laid on that, and I was in meditative state immediately, immediately. And I thought, if I got that and coupled it with my hypnosis, damn, like, that's going to be so awesome. Right. So that was I was in meditation in seconds. Yep.
That's the thing.
I was deep in there.
State. Yeah. And then again, the singing bowl therapy, the tuning fork therapy, and then binaural beats. That's a method that stimulates the brain into a specific state using the pulsing sounds. Right. And your brain aligns with the frequency of that beat and helps with enhanced focus. And then also back to the throat chakra, I actually wanted to add this in, the humming, the chanting, which again, you can do on your own. And then even if you want to go to the extremes with this, but it's still sound healing, you can scream and open up your throat chakra by screaming and being heard. And especially for victims of like sexual abuse or any traumas like that, just screaming no, and actually being heard for yourself. It's hearing, having your higher self align with your voice and your throat chakra, that can be so immensely healing. I know it was for me when I went through that experience.
Yep. No, absolutely. And even sighing, like that sigh, but like a deep sigh, like not a going up, but almost like a deeper sigh. So there's just amazing things that we can do. So how do you exactly, now being a hypnotherapist, give us an example of how you would integrate this into your practice?
Yes. So it's funny because before I studied hypnotherapy, the first thing I was led to study before, just right after I got sober, actually, the first thing I was led to study was Reiki and crystal healing. And so I studied those first and got certified as a Reiki Master Teacher and a certified crystal healer and practitioner. And so I began my business, Awaken the Glow, with just offering these, I call them the Awaken the Glow energy healing sessions. And I would integrate the Reiki, the crystals, and then the sound healing on top of it. It's kind of like 3-in-1, bing, bing, boom, this like transformational 90-minute experience. And because I went to music school, for me, the sound healing is just integrated into everything I do already. So I didn't go and get an additional degree for that, but I just, I'm always singing. I'm always humming, as you know, once we met.
Yes.
and so I
she bounces. She bounces everywhere she goes. She bounces. Yeah. She's constantly jumping.
Yes, I'm bouncing right now. I was like still listening to your intro in my head. And so I used to work at a wellness center in LA, and one of my clients there, who loved my voice, she bought me my first crystal bowl, and she gifted it to me, and she's like, "You need to sing with this." And I began singing with it, and then another healer that I actually studied Reiki with in LA, he is a retired engineer, a sound engineer. And so he actually would measure the frequencies of my voice with the bowls. And he's like, "Jourdan, this measures out of this world frequencies, like of etheric realms." And I'm like, all right, well, that sounds good to me. So,
well, that's great because you're actually going to do some of that for us today too. So we're exactly. The people who are listening to this are in for some treats today. So that was amazing. So. I think that you're awesome. Really. And when I mean awesome, there's awesome, that's really cool. But I really think it's more of on a higher level of awesomeness. Like you just have this beautiful gift, and people being around you. I don't even know what I would think about anybody who bounces around as much as you do on a regular, like if I just saw this person bouncing around and jumping all the time, I would think, why do they keep doing that? But when you do it, it just brings smiles to everybody's face, and it's so joyful to watch you bouncing around so much. It's so funny.
It's funny because I definitely do trigger people though with how I show up in life, because, if someone's not happy and they see someone like me bouncing around and like obviously happy and enjoying life, that is a mere reflection of how you're not feeling, right? And so I've had a lot of best friends and even relationships in the past where they're like, "I just can't get over this. Like, you're just too much." And then I would say, "I'm sorry that you feel that way. Like, I love you very much, and I'm not going to dim my light for your own comfort, because that's not okay." And I've gone through enough in my past to know when that's, showing up in my life. And a lot of my friends, though, who have said that, they've addressed it. They've been like, "Hey, I've addressed this. I know it's my own stuff. I'm working on it, but I just wanted you to know that it does trigger me, and I wanted you to know because I love you, and I want to stay your friend." So I'm like, all right, well, at least you're being honest, and I appreciate that. But also, I remember I was prescribed Adderall, and then I got addicted to it. Now I don't take it anymore. And so because I'm free of all drugs, alcohol, and any, I don't smoke weed. People always ask, like, "Do you still smoke weed, though?" I'm like, no. Sober means, like, nothing. Nothing that can affect my psyche. So because of that, I think because I'm kind of naturally ADD, ADHD prone, I'm just hopping around anyway to release that extra pent-up energy that I've always got running around, which is fine, because I also speak out, for parents to know, like, you don't have to put your kids on medication. Like, oftentimes that zombifies them instead of, these kids are gifted with energy and creativity to create, not to be not. And so I'm kind of like that kid that didn't get the meds and is popping around even in her later 20s.
It was great. I remember we were at a yacht party where there was music and everyone's dancing, and there you were. You know, you were there just bouncing around and dancing and bouncing and jumping, and you got other people jumping, and and there was people jumping everywhere. So it was, you know, you're contagious. You are contagious. That's for sure. So
yeah. That was my goal. My goal is to have the entire boat dancing before the end of the night, and I think I achieved that.
Yeah, you had everyone jumping around. That was awesome. That was so fun. So fun to have you there. So I know that after the break, I would like to allow people to hear your beautiful voice. And
sure.
I'm going to leave it to you whether you want. I personally, I think it would be really great to hear your song first and sort of then move into this healing space that we're going to provide for people, which would be really great. So we're going to be right back with that. And once again, don't go anywhere, people. You need to listen to this. See you back at a master's practice.
The future of Internet radio is here. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose, to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free. AscendingHearts.com.
Tune in to the Practical Intuitive, Mind, Body, Spirit for the Real World with me, host Robin Fritz, Mondays at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 Eastern. I'll cover personal and business intuition, animal communication, mediumship, space clearing, past life regression, shamanic insights, energy healing, soul choice, and more, all to help you tap your own intuitive and healing skills. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Are you tired of being tired? If you're feeling overwhelmed in your mind and your body to the point where it is breaking your spirit, then it is time to take back control of your entire life in a whole new way. Come join us in Nashville, Tennessee, November 15th through 17th for a retreat filled with transformation and freedom, achieving methods and protocols. Learn real, ready-to-use exercises and techniques that will have you feeling better than you have probably ever felt. The healers at this event have more than 50 years of combined expertise in the art of making you feel well, bringing you tools that are so different than anything you have ever experienced before. This is a specialized event with personalized activities, so space is limited. Are you ready to make a serious breakthrough? If you want to experience massive healing in a short time, then this is something that cannot be missed. You deserve to have an amazing life. This is your opportunity to finally make it a reality. Ready to transform your world? Go to gururetreats.com and register now.
Opiates has taken everything and everyone I've ever loved away from me. Everything.
I blew my ankle out and I got prescribed pain pills by my doctor.
If making my detox public is going to help somebody, I'm all for it. I just wish I would have had a warning.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth. A message from Truth, the Ad Council, and ONDCP.
Welcome back. Welcome back to A Master's Practice with me, Dr. Aisha Hogan, and our amazing, most awesome guest, Jourdan Rystrom, a hypnotherapist and singer-songwriter. So I want people who have been listening to this, I want to thank you for listening, and you're in for a treat. So before we get into that part of it, though, I would like you to first let people know how they can contact you, Jourdan. Let's get into that first.
Yeah, totally. Well, I'm all over social media. I'm all over the online space. So if you guys want to spell my name correctly, I'll spell it for you now. It's Jourdan. Rystrom. And it's Jourdan Rystrom. And even if you spell it wrong, I've actually got Google. Google will correct you and say, did you mean Jourdan Rystrom? So try botching the spelling when you type it into Google. But I'm on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I have a YouTube channel with my interviews and music. I'm on, all of the Reverb Nation and SoundCloud sites. My songs are on iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, anywhere that you consume music. If you just search my name, you'll be able to find Dead Sober, along with 2 other releases I've done in the past. And then I've got new music coming really soon. Also with my healing website is awakentheglow.com. So if you want to head there and kind of see how I work with my clients and the transformative results that I get, head there, awakentheglow.com. You can fill out the contact form and reach me that way too.
That's awesome. So I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to be able to listen to you yet again, to listen to, I love that song, Dead Sober. I love that song. Yeah. So absolutely, I want to hear it. So whenever you're ready, let's listen to this beautiful song.
All right. And just for sake of time today, I'm going to sing it with the track. So there's going to be a track of instrumental, and then I'm singing it live.
Okay, great.
All right. We're gonna hop right into it. Enjoy.
Okay.
Dead Sober. How could you leave me? How could you save me? How? Living in no place or time when you don't know the destination. How could you do this? How could you break my heart? I didn't even get a fair start. And now I've got to stop daydreaming. Yeah. I'm dead sober through everything. I'm dead sober. I feel everything. Yeah, I'm dead sober through everything. And I want you to know that. I want you to know that I have faith. Hey. It's bigger than the both of us. I want you to know that I cried for you. I didn't even know what to do. So I just sat there and I wept. I wept for you. Dead sober through everything. Even though I cry, dead sober, I feel everything. Yeah, I'm dead sober through everything. And I want you to know that. I want you to know that I have faith. It's bigger than the both of us. I made it to the other side, but I don't see your face yet. And there's no telling where you are or where you'll be. So now it's just me. I'm dead sober through everything. I'm dead sober. I feel everything. Yeah.
I love that song. It's
Thank
like you can feel your life in that song.
Yeah.
You can feel your life in that song.
That was written at the moment where I decided that I had to be sober for myself and not for anyone else, not to people please, not to be codependent, like for me, to really choose it for me. And that was like the first step to truly beginning to love myself again in my journey of recovery.
That's amazing. And that's awesome. And I'm so glad that you can put it out there for people so that, they're able to transform and, even without the proper music behind you and everything, you just have this beautiful voice and it's a wonderful message. So thank you for sharing that. And now we get to hear some of your wonderful sound healing.
Yes. I'm so excited. How much time do we have left, by the way? How long?
We have about, I'm going to say about, let's stick around about 5 minutes.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I'm going to play kind of a mixture of the crystal bowl. I'm going to play some tuning forks and some kind of bell brass bowls as well. And then I'll just play the bowls at first, and then I will sing with them. And whoever is listening, I invite you to, if you're listening on a phone, touch your phone because you're going to feel the vibrations through your device. If you're listening on a computer, if you can touch your computer, you're actually going to feel these sound vibrations through technology, which is pretty cool, which will provide healing as well. And then feel free to sing along. If there's anyone listening, use your own voice, use your own hums, and just tap into this feeling and make an intention for yourself for whatever you want to create.
Awesome.
All right, here we go.
I could listen to you all day. Thank you so much, Jourdan, for being with us today and sharing your beautiful sounds and your wonderful story. And I hope it's inspired someone today who's listening and maybe not in the best place in their life to say, hey, you know what, I can do this too. So just moving into a better place in their life. So I want to thank you for coming onto a Master's Choice or Master's Practice. I don't even know where I am. So on a Master's Practice. And I felt myself kind of going there. So I said, I better say something before I go too deep here. So that was awesome. Thank you so much for sharing everything and joining me. And I know you've got some great news. You just got engaged. So that's awesome. You know, congratulations for that. So your life is moving in beautiful, huge strides. And if anybody who's listening who thinks that they can't make a huge difference in their life and other people's lives, Jourdan Rystrom's story is one that's out there that says, you know what, you can hit bottom, but you certainly can begin to raise your frequency and vibration and change the life of so many people. So thank you so much for sharing. Absolutely. Absolutely. Starting with your own. So I want to thank everyone
that's out there. I just wanted to say anyone that's out there struggling with addiction or anything that I talked about today, if it resonated with you, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I'm here to help and help you step into the new world that you deserve. So I'm here for you.
Absolutely. Yes. You're awesome. Thank you. Oh my God. Oh my God. Thank you for joining me on this show. And you're going to be at the retreat as well, which is amazing.
Yes.
So wonderful things happening. Thank you everyone for coming on to a Master's Practice and joining me, Dr. Aisha Hogan, and my wonderful guest, Jourdan Rystrom. And we will see you all again soon. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. Bye, everyone.
Bye.